What's going on, guys? Salih from Shahani Motors. I thought I'd make a video for you guys on what to check when you have a vehicle that does not start at all. So today we had a vehicle get towed in. This is a 2009 Honda Accord for a customer. The vehicle was a no start. So now I'm going to show some low-tech ways and a little bit more high-tech ways depending on how much equipment you have. Sometimes you're just in a parking lot with your family, you don't have any equipment. So this is a nice, easy, quick way to check your vehicle to determine what's going on. Most of the time, when a vehicle is not starting, so the starting system consists of three components: the alternator, the starter, and the battery. Now, when the vehicle is not starting, most of the time, it's going to be either battery or starter. That's the most common things that we see. But there's other things that it could be as well. So let's just jump right into this one. First thing we're going to do, you can come in here so you can kind of get the dash a little bit. I'm going to put the key in the on position. Now I'm going to verify the customer's complaint. So now if you can hear that clicking, that's a good indication of a starter being bad, but I'm going to get to that later on. So first thing you want to do is you want to look at the dash lights here. You see how the dash lights are. You want to make sure that they're nice and bright. You don't want to see dim dash lights, because dim dash lights will indicate that you have a low battery or a poor connection at a terminal or something like that. But most of the time you want to always make sure that you have a good solid, all the lights are lit up nicely. Next thing I like to do is to turn on one of these lights inside here, or both of them. And now make sure the lights stay steady. Make sure you're not seeing no flicker or the lights are really dim. Now watch those lights while you crank. You see how they're saying stable? That's a good indication that the battery is good in this vehicle, and it's not that the battery itself is drained out. So as you can see, the lights on the dash, everything is staying pretty stable. So now we're going to move under the hood. All right, guys, coming under the hood. Now you're going to see we have the battery right here. On this specific vehicle, this is a K24 by Honda, very popular engine on most of their Honda Accords, some of the CR-Vs and a few other vehicles that they have it in. Now, the intake, the starter on this vehicle is under the intake, so it makes it a little bit difficult to reach it, to check for power and ground. Now, what you guys are going to do, you're going to want to do, if you guys have, I got a very basic, this is a very basic battery tester, as you can see. First thing I want to do is come on over here. We're going to make sure you got your positive, your negative. Hook up your negative side first. Hook up your positive side second. Okay, so now as you can see, you can come on over here. As you can see, we have around 12 volts. Now it's a little bit low. You want around 12.5 to start a vehicle, but I don't believe that's going to be our issue here. So you can see that we have decent battery voltage there. Now, what we would normally do in this situation is we would have to access the starter, or if you're more advanced, you can access the relay and check for power ground up there. But you would want to make sure that you have good power and good ground at the starter to verify that the signal is reaching the starter. Now, if the signal is reaching the starter when someone is turning the key while you're checking it, then you have a good indication there that the starter itself has become faulty. A lot of times what we'll do in parking lots and stuff to you know, if you're stuck, what you can do is, if you can access the starter, sometimes while someone is cranking over, you can beat the starter with a hammer and like a long screwdriver. A lot of times that will shock it, and it will get the starter to work temporarily so you can get home or get to the shop or whatever you have to do. So when there's a no start, that's the most common things that we see. A lot of times, what other things we can see, if you want to come over here, is you can see the battery terminals. You can see they're a little bit corroded here. They're still pretty tight, so I'm not too worried about that. But you also have to check for connections, because sometimes if the connection is bad, that will also cause your problem. Now, the third part, they put it in the starting system. As you can see, it's the alternator. Now, the alternator is not going to cause the vehicle to not start. If the vehicle, well, a lot of times what will happen though, is if the alternator is borderline about to fail, you'll be having around 12 volts in the 11 volts, 12 volts will be charging at. So what's gonna happen is that you'll drive the vehicle won't shut off on you, but what's gonna happen is the car won't start, or it'll be a weak battery and you have to jump it after. So if that's the case, then you have to check the battery, you have to check the alternator. I'm gonna do a separate video on how to check the alternator. But as far as a no start condition, when you're cranking the key and the vehicle is not starting, and there's no noise, like the engine is not trying to turn over or anything, most of the time the problem there is either the battery or it's going to be the starter. Of course, there's a lot of other things that it could be, but I'm just telling you, 90% of the time, the most common things that we see. And so I want you to come to the intake now, and I'm going to turn over the key so you can hear the starter clicking. Now, that's a good indication that obviously power is coming there, ground is coming there, but what we have is a starter that is seized up, stuck inside, and it's not allowing the vehicle to start. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can move a little bit closer to the intake. So as you guys heard that, I mean, that's pretty good indication that starter is no good. We're gonna do some more testing on this one, but this vehicle needs a starter. That's what's gonna take care of this problem. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you guys wanna see more videos like this, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment if you have any questions. Again, my name is Ali from Shahani Motors. We're located on 1518 Bradley Street in Schenectady, New York. You can reach us at 518-331-9989.